needs for mobile solutions. And I know that many very often mobile solutions have diverse requirements that consider many different approaches. Can you comment on that a little bit? What does it mean to have different approaches based on different requirements?
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy answer because because it depends also on the industry where we are heading, right? So, for example, if we are in an industry more focusing on a B2C level, then we could have products, and for those products, a dedicated mobile solutions or mobile apps. So of course you have that one external mobility part, which mainly is developed today individual by product. And then we have that classic B2B, or also like the internal services, where you also want to have the mobility and the flexibility, and there are different requirements. So for those different requirements, speaking into the internal processes, of course, we have the Microsoft Cosmos, the freedom with Power Apps to easy and fast create Power Apps for specific business requirements, right? Especially when it comes to administration level or desk sharing concepts, etc., etc. And then we have also, from a Microsoft and Resco perspective, the enhancement and the dedicated solution for field service processes. And there, of course, we will touch that later. The requirements, Microsoft or Resco, for example, could be also dependent on specific roles and requirements from each individual. So not an easy answer, but there are room for both versions, I believe, and for different approaches as well. So it is not just one solution. It could be a set of enhancements or mobile solutions. But at the end of the day, just having multiple solutions, if we have multiple solutions, we need to make sure that we have one data storage, so that we have not too many different interfaces and not many or different truths of data records.
And I want to make it perfectly clear that there are some philosophical differences between how we approach mobility and what PowerApp is. And the main one probably is that we at Resco, we built a platform. So it's not a mobile application that we're creating through Resco. It's a platform that allows you to mobilize your dynamics or mobilize your people. So what's important is to have kind of a fair set of expectations when you start looking at Resco. On one hand, yeah, there's a price tag that is part of it because it's our technology. But on the other hand, with Resco, the story is pretty simple. And that story is anything is possible. And it's not just me saying it, it's the hundreds of stories of our customers. And we've seen some of the most brutal, complex, and challenging cases where Resco was the only option for the customers. One that really comes to my mind, and I'm sure you remember the keynote at Resco Next, I think it was in 2018, when we had the team from United Nations joining Resco conference, and they shared the story how they use Resco to build an application for refugee identification purposes, and they use that solution now in, I think, more than 80 countries around the world. But some of the setups are like truly like nothing we've ever seen before. Think of it as a refugee camp in the middle of, literally in the middle of nowhere, where not that they don't have internet connectivity, they many times don't even have electricity there. So they bring their diesel generators on trucks to power up their laptops and other devices, and they set up a camp which is pretty much a tent, and they operate there for months. And the only solution that supports them is Resco. So when I say, yeah, there are certain benefits with Resco, and I think they're huge, they require some extra work and they come at a premium price. But for companies for whom mobility is important to be effective, and if that's the only tool that their people have, I think it's an investment that pays itself off really quickly.